Resume. Okay, so I'm going to record this so that anybody else that wants to catch it later can. But the reason for this webinar is for me to introduce everyone to Haja Karimah. As I said in the little blurb that I did, I met her in 2017 when she was doing a workshop with regards to IHOPE, which is the project that she started. And it was particularly about an issue that happened with her daughter, and how Allah guided Sister Karimah to basically dive into the Quran and heal her daughter. So, I mean, subhanAllah, I was so blown away. She compared modern medicine with, what Allah has guided us to do, once we, know Arabic and can dive into the Quran, and, how she was able to, like I said, with Allah's permission, heal her daughter. But that's just letting you know who she is. But she is now doing a project called Heal on Wheels, which is what I sent you. And so for me, this is exactly what I needed, because when I took the first workshop, Karimah, I never got to tell you this, but I felt slighted because you fixed the food for us. And, I'm a foodie, and of course I loved it and I enjoyed it and everything, but I'm also a hands-on person. So I was like, okay, she gave all this information from Quran. She also gave information from modern times, quote unquote. And now what do I do? So I was so thankful to Allah, alhamdulillah, that she put this together. It's so comprehensive, subhanAllah. I'm telling everybody that, I give treatment to, that, come to me for consultations or what have you about this course. I said, this is the best gift I can give you, the best that I can do for you is for you to take this class. This will be the cheapest way that you can begin to work towards your healing, inshallah, bismillah. So without further ado, this is Haja Karimah. I want you to see her right here. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
She was asking me more about the class. So if you want to just go ahead and, start talking about the class, since it is coming up. So this is like a little blurb. You all got just a few more days left to register, inshallah. So if you would go ahead, Karimah.
Okay, alhamdulillah. Again, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. And I'm definitely honored to be a guest in this webinar. And may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us success from this, and that it's spread far and wide to Muslims and even non-Muslims as possible. So the first thing is just before I get into the program itself, Rhadiyah, I'm glad you brought up about you feeling slighted when I did that workshop last year. And the reason why I'm happy for that, because I think a lot of people who took the workshop not just last year in Atlanta, but I've taken the workshop to Texas, Philadelphia, and other places, and they have this idea that the How Empowerment Program is the same as the workshop, and it's completely different.
Yeah.
So the workshop was just something to kind of, get people familiar with what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying in the Quran when it comes to health, healing, and food. And this is why I would offer something to eat during that time because of that. It was nothing, nowhere near compared to what I'm offering in this course, because this is actually a course. And for you to hopefully be empowered and walk away, be able to apply this information to yourself, family members, community members, and so forth. So it's a major difference between the two. And I'm pretty sure you experienced that during the 2 weeks.
Yes, absolutely.
So with that said, the How Empowerment Program is a program under the IHOPE initiative, which IHOPE is what I started in West Africa, Mauritania, and that is the IHOPE stands for Islamic Holistic Outreach Program for Everyone. And as you said, that particular program was started due to definitely Bilquis and her experience when she swallowed the battery, but there were other situations that were taking place that also kind of geared or brought that into existence. So IHOPE has several different services, and I would say several different parts that exist in IHOPE. And one of those things, like IHOPE is the umbrella, and what comes under it, we have consultations that we do, private consultations. We have the Triple H program, home health healing, where we go out and actually it's almost like home health care, but it's about healing, people getting healed and not going out to care for them. We also have I say consultation, home health healing, Triple H, and then of course the educational side of it is the How Empowerment Program, and that is the Heal on Wheels. So Heal on Wheels, it just came about in around October time, and it was an idea that came up when I found out that my teacher, Imam Qasim Ahmed, had been diagnosed with stage 4 brain cancer, glioblastoma multiforme 4, and I went to Texas to help him. I wanted to empower the community and his family with as much as I could in order to help him as he is moving along in this newly diagnosis that he got and prognosis in terms of cancer. And so I wanted to be able to establish people that would, of course, I could not, give them as modern medicine would turn, certify them to be certified nurses or anything like that. But I could give them something where they would be empowered to be able to go in and assist the imam and anybody else that's dealing with cancer or any other debilitating or chronic disease. And so that started off with being a helper in place, HIP. And so I went there with the intention to be able to produce helpers in place that they would be able to help the imam when needed. When I came back, back to Atlanta after being in Texas for over 7 weeks with Imam Qasim, I came back, and one of the things that he said to me when I was there was that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had given me this knowledge and this information as a trust and a manna, and that it was imperative for me to take this information around to the community of Muslims, especially in the United States, North America at this point. And with me having the history and track record of traveling abroad, he knew that I would be leaving the country again, and it was imperative for me to do it before I left. one of the things that we had in place prior to him getting diagnosed with brain cancer, we were going to do a tour. And this tour was going to take, can you hear me?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes.
This tour was going to take IHOPE, as well as his program, the Arabic Institute that he had, the Islamic Arabic Institute. And it was a couple of other imams that were with us. And we were going to do a tour around the US. And this is how he was going to introduce IHOPE to the community. Unlike me now trying to just, push it on people. Come on, open it. He had already been in the community for over 50 years, going around, teaching. So he said, Karimah, we would open the door for IHOPE to be able to go in to the community and, so forth. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had already written something else. So I'm out here doing it by myself. And as I feel like I'm doing it by myself, but definitely I'm not. The spirit of the Imam is with me. And so many times when I want to give up and I want to walk away, I hear him, telling me some real strong words. He normally does. And he pushes me. Bill Keys, 1 second. Bill Keys, come in here. And could you close that door for me? Thank you. Come sit down. Sit down. I'm in the webinar. Sit down. I'm in the webinar.
Let me tell you one thing.
No. I'm in the webinar. Just sit down. Sit down. Okay. I'm sorry about that.
Mm-hmm.
You're fine.
So I just wanted to give you like a little history on how the How Empowerment Program came about. So what is How? Again, as I was there with the Imam and I was thinking about how to help him overcome his diagnosis, especially with brain cancer, I wanted to think about, try to figure out how we can, because brain cancer is one of the most, I won't say but one of the most difficult cancers to address. And the reason for that is because the brain has the blood-brain barrier, and not everything can get across that. Alhamdulillah, Allah made that to protect the brain. And so as I was sitting there thinking and searching, it allowed me to do all of this research, which allowed me to go into the cell. And so as I went into the cell and studied a lot about the cell, it took me to so many other avenues. And that's where we came up with the different modules in terms of teaching this information on a more in-depth and, as you said, comprehensive level. And so that's how we were able to break down, like, it's so much information. How do I give to every, to all of this in a short amount of time? And even still, it's not enough time. 2 weeks is not enough time at all. It's just scratching the surface. This program could be at least 3 months. But it, alhamdulillah, I was able to kind of piece it together and then separate it in my mind, and then of course separate it on paper where I can make up modules and give each section its own attention. And that's where we came up with the 12 modules, and we're able to offer this. So literally trying to teach people about healing based upon the Quran and the life of our beloved Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And one of the things that, Bill Keith, come over here, one of the things that got me when my daughter was sick, and she did go through that experience of swallowing the battery, and I'm looking everywhere on how to cure her, sit right here, how to cure her naturally. I kept running into so much information online. And I think anyone will tell you how overwhelming it can be, how confusing it can be when you are trying to find an answer for an illness. And no, sit right here, baby, right here. And you cannot find it because why? It's so much conflicting information. This information is conflicting. Okay, some people say, look, in order to be cured, you have to be without meat, vegan. Some people say, no, in order to be cured, you have to be without carbohydrates. You have to have only meat. Some people say, in order to be, it's so many different things that you have to do in order to be cured, and they're conflicting, they're not congruent. And so that's where I had to run to the Quran. Here, come here. That's where I had to run to the Quran. And and literally look into the Quran for guidance. And the reason for that is because a lot of what I was reading, I don't care which area you looked at. So if you said, well, I'm going to follow the people that are vegan, I'm going to follow the people that are carbohydrate, ketogenic or whatever. It always seemed that it was also conflicting with the Quran, or conflicting with, because I'm like, wait a minute, in the time of the Prophet Islam, people got sick and they got well, and they didn't have to go to these extremes to get rid of these things. And so that's what made me look into the Quran for an answer. Okay, where is this cure? If our Prophet ﷺ said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has not sent down any disease except that he has sent down this cure, then where's the cure?
Right.
So either, this hadith is strong and authentic, or and I believed it. I believe the hadith. I believe that, yes, it's strong, it's authentic. So then it must be something that we're lacking. So it has to be something with us. What are we doing? And that's when I got into really researching and finding that, wait a minute, that we have the answer. We just have went away from following what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has written for us and the life of the Prophet ﷺ. So we have some of these prophetic remedies, but we don't have the lifestyle that they had. And that's why we're not getting the result.
That's right. Absolutely.
So I'm taking a little break because I can keep going.
Uh-huh.
If you want to interject, ask something.
No, keep going.
Okay. So how? And let's focus on some of the what we offer with the How Empowerment Program. So the How Empowerment Program is a program not only to give you information, it, as it says, is to empower you, to give you the ability that you can take your health into your own hands, and that whether it be you, your family member, somebody in the community that's diagnosed with something, you're not sitting there with just dumbfounded, not knowing what to do, and feeling that you're at the mercy of other people that really actually don't know what to do. They're searching, and that's why they have diagnostic testing, right? Because they're looking to try to find out what's wrong, and 9 times out of 10, they don't even know. And usually whatever you're getting, the treatment that you're getting, is not to cure you from the thing, it is actually to get rid of the symptoms that you have. And so Hal was saying, no, we believe that we can be cured because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has designed the body. He has designed the body in order to do what? Heal itself. Mm-hmm. And so if the body is designed to heal itself, then what is the problem that we're not being healed when we're coming up with many of these diseases? Well, one of the things is because it has to be in the right condition in order to do that. So the body has to work, it has to be in equilibrium. It has to have all of the nutrients, the minerals, and everything that it needs in order, the enzymes, everything that it needs in order for it to work for you. And the main thing is you've been given and designed by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with a system that is already in defense, is ready to defend you. So that defense system is working day and night. And Rhadiyah, you had a chance to see that with some of the videos that we showed, where that defense system is just working. Every time something that's in that body that shouldn't be there, it's working. It never stops. Even when you go to sleep, your defense system is working. Right. And that is your immune system. So getting that immune system to where it has all the essential things that it needs in order to work. You're not going to set up a military or a security team to secure you, but they have no security equipment. So you say, all right, you stand there, artillery, nothing. How are they going to secure you? And that's what's happening with our immune system. Our immune system is there, but it's disarmed. It has nothing. And then most of the immune system is actually sick and weakened because of the type of food that we're putting in that's destroying it. And so with this, we have our modules set up to show you how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala designed you from the beginning. So even when you go, and I'm going to just kind of go over a little bit of these modules that I'm talking about in particular. starting with the first module where we talk about food, man, food, and spirituality. Because there is a connection, and I think we as Muslims, we've lost that connection when it comes to our spiritual side. And, you know, we don't look at food as playing a spiritual role. It's something that we eat to get our nutrients from. You know, it's something that we need. It's a necessity. But we don't see it that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually wrote it in something from a spiritual perspective. And so what do I mean when I say spirituality? Oh, it is a major part of your inner self, your soul is a major part of that, even though the soul doesn't need food in order for it to be in existence. But we know we know that it's a major part because when you look at our parents in the garden, okay, what got them out of the garden? And I'm talking to the sister. Can you give me her name again?
Naima.
The sister that's sitting to Rhadiyah.
Naima.
Okay, Naima. So I'm asking you. Okay, I'm sorry, Naima. I won't forget it because my grandbaby's name is Naima. Alhamdulillah. So Naima, how was our parents kicked out of the garden? What was the determining factor that got them kicked out of the garden?
They sinned against Allah.
Okay, what was that sin that they did?
They ate something forbidden.
Right. So Allah told them, "La taqrabu hadhihi shajara," do not go near this tree. And they not only went near the tree, they ate from the tree. So is that food?
Yes.
Yes. And so we start there at the beginning. That from the beginning, food was there. And it's extremely important because there are other verses in the Quran where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us, do not allow Satan to get us out or to trap us, right? Or to misguide us or tempt us as he got our parents out of the garden. So if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is telling us not to do that, I think, and we should all think, it is imperative for us to study what happened. What happened in that case that got them kicked out of the garden? What was all the intricate things that was involved in that? Because whatever was involved in that, then we must know in that situation, it is the very thing that Satan will be using to get us also where we are off the path. And so we start there, food, man, and spirituality. The next module, which is, I believe, about the cell, the human cell. We go and we talk about the human cell because why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us. He says what? Min ayyi shay'in khalaqahu. Now Allah does not ask us rhetorical questions. You know, he's asking you a question for you to do what? For you to ponder and to think. Min ayyi shay'in khalaqahu. From what thing did we create him? And then he also gives you an answer, min nutfatin khalaqahu faqaddara, that we created him from what? From a single cell. So we begin to look at the cell and break down the cell. And I got my modules up now so I can see them because I don't know them by heart, which is in order. So the cell is actually module 3, but module 2 is an acronym kind of that I made up. And it's called Mind Control Alters the Soul, MCATS. So mind control alters the soul. And that is to talk about how we actually have gotten to the point that we desire certain things. You know, is there something going on mentally? Are we being programmed into eating, drinking, and all of these things that we do? So in module 4, we literally get from a Quranic approach dealing with food. And I think that's the module that people really, really get to see, like, subhanAllah, you know, what has happened, the real input of Satan and how he has literally came in and actually devised a plan to literally take us off of the path and lead us down a way that I say the pathway of Bani Israel. And so what is the pathway of Bani Israel? Well, Bani Israel, they were told, and I don't want to talk too much about this because this is in my introduction, And if I say too much, I'm giving an answer to my students. But they were told to eat, a particular food, and they said they couldn't bear that. They couldn't do that. And so they told Musa alayhi salam to go and ask for their Lord for other things. And the main part I want to get to is that where Musa alayhi salam said what? He said to them, "Oh, mommy, go get mommy's backpack. I'm sorry, my battery says low, and we do not want the phone to cut off. Right there, backpack, mommy's backpack. Yes, thank you." And so when they when Musa alayhi salam, he said what? He said, "Go down to this town, and you will find all the things that you are looking for, requesting, because you've chosen what? That which is worse for that which is better." But he said, you will find what? The things that you're requesting, with that you will find it, but you will also be what? You will be miserable and you will be humiliated. If those are not the two major descriptions of being, just bring mommy the bag, being diagnosed with a chronic illness, misery, and humiliation. Excuse me. Right here, you got it, baby. Just pull it. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry, I don't want the phone to die off. And so we don't want to be in that situation, which we are barking on it right now. We are very, very close to, if not already in the state of the children of Israel. What can be more debilitating and humiliating, as well as miserable, than having chronic diseases? All of them. Not just cancer, but ask anybody that's dealing with diabetes, and you have to sit there and give yourself injections, on a daily basis. Being just your privacy, being in an area where you can do that. Also worrying about, the miserable side, that literally losing limbs, all of those things that is the final outcome to these diseases. So again, being able to bring this information, make the Muslims think and use their intellect, because it's there. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what? Inna anzalnahu Qur'anan Arabiyyan la'allakum ta'aqilun. We have sent this Qur'an down as an Arabic Qur'an so that you use your intellect. So using the Qur'an as our foundation for us to see, we have the answer. The cure is there. It's been with us. But we have to go back to the book of Allah, and we have to obey Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and follow the way and the true life of our Prophet. When we're talking about following the Sunnah, then how do we leave out the eating? How do we leave out the whole concept of our diet and everything, of how he lived and why he chose to do what he did? Why did he choose to eat sometimes not even a meal a day? Right? Literally, he was the Prophet of Allah. He had everything to his disposal. Allah gave him everything, as he did with Maryam alayhi salam when she was in the room. And he provided her with what? With all of the fruits and vegetables. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did that with the Prophet Islam. But there are many times that what? Aisha radiallahu anha said that we went what? From 2 months or 3 months where there was no fire lit in the house of the Prophet Islam. It was not because he was poor. It was that he was living a life to show us for a time that we would be in where we literally need to go longer than that because we don't have the right food to our disposal. So these are the things that we want to talk about. We have answers to the issues. We have our module that talks about what? Halal and tayyiban versus organic. Because, we're sitting here eating halal food, and this halal food that we're calling halal food isn't really halal. Halal gummy bears, halal pizzas, halal, all this food that kills you. There's no way. But we don't understand what halal and tayyiban is, as opposed to where we're seeing all these stamps of halal on stuff that Allah subhanahu is not permitted, made permissible for us. So, and then what's the difference between that and organic? And we have pharmacy, right? The pharmacy that you go to for your modern medications, right? Chemical medications. And then we have farm and seed, FARM, and then SEA. See, that's the real farm and seed you want. The farm and seed, what Allah has given us, that literally is about purifying and regenerating and restoring the body in the cells. So with that, I'm going to plug this plug-in before we all say goodbye, and we really don't want to. Hold on one second.
Mm-hmm.
But you can, if you have any interjections, any questions, I can. Okay, I need you to get up. Get up. Get up. I need you to move over there. Move over there. Thank you. Move.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but you have to move from the phone. Okay. Here we go. Thank you. Okay. Now let me just plug this into the phone. Okay. Okay. Let's see. Wait. Yep, there we go. Plug. Yes, it's charging. Okay, I'm here.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay. So as I said, it's supposed to be 12 modules. We are going to be merging 2 of them. There may be 10 modules. Okay, sit down, baby. And again, I'm just trying to look at some of them here. We also, we're going to be covering, of course, meat. SubhanAllah. Meat. Should I be or should I not be a vegan? You know, and SubhanAllah, there was a brother on Friday, Jum'ah, I was in the masjid and I went to give, to do some promotional work, and I handed a flyer to two brothers that was together, and they probably were in their late 30s, early 40s, and had nice little pot bellies, right? Had some food, what they want to call food, in their hand. So when I gave them the flyer, I was telling them a little bit real fast, because you got to speak fast because I don't have time anymore. And so I said a little something, Hill on Wheels, we got to get back to eating right so we can get rid of these. A lot of our brothers are dropping dead now in their 40s, He said, sister, it's the meat, that's all. I said, program. Because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not design on this earth anything except that what he designed was a preparation for man to be placed here, and it was to benefit us. So the DNA of the animal is the same DNA of us as us. So if there's a problem with the meat, it is not because of it being an animal. It is a problem because the same thing that's happening with us, the same poisoning that's happening to us is happening to them. That's why the animals have the same diseases that we have. I should never have to look and read about a cow having peritonitis. That's crazy. Okay, human diseases or animal diseases. So, subhanAllah, unfortunately. So I told him, please come out. So definitely we have to talk about the meat and talk about the benefit that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us, not just from the animal meat protein, but from the milk and so forth. So we have that. We have sickness and I think the sickness and health is the pharmacy and pharmacy. We have the gut. Okay, so the gut is your brain. So, and that's to talk about what's happening, because our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said what? He said all disease starts in the stomach, the gut, and the cure is abstinence. SubhanAllah. So we are living in an age where we are literally being attacked, and it is our gut. That's where your immune system is. That's the first line of defense is right there. And so your microbiomes that are there are being attacked by what you're putting into your gut. And so right where the first defense is supposed to start, where these guys are working along with enzymes to have your foods properly digested, as well as to build up your immune system and those good bacteria so that they can fight and keep out invaders. They're being broken down because the food that you're taking in is destroying your gut bacteria. It's destroying your defense system. And so that's talking about that. But not just that, I actually am going to have a free webinar, inshallah, on Wednesday. And of course, it is hopefully to get everybody to come in, final call, right? Come on in, so I can get you coming out for Friday. And I will be going over some of what's in the gut module. And one of the things I want to talk about that's really important for that 30, I'll say 20 to 30, even 40 age group is fertility. Is really important because we're having a big problem with it. And one of the things that I don't want to get too much into it, but in my ad, I will talk about this because I remember I put a post up talking about infertility and the problem of it, just in the world in general, but for the first time in history, that literally to add this much infertility. And I remember a brother writing on the post, sister, look, fertility, that's what the law, I didn't say much back to him because I don't like thumb typing, and I had my phone. And when I want to talk to you, respond to you, because I feel like you just said something that you need to know, I need to have all 10 fingers. Type. So I'm all that I feel, how I would be expressing from my verbally is in that keyboard. You can hear that those keys on the keyboard. So I didn't have that, and I couldn't do it with my thumb, so I left it alone. But what I wanted to say to him was that, mashallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made everything clear to us in His Quran. And there are some things that we have no control, nothing that we can do. Okay? And one of those things, I think I told you about this in class, is death. Death is coming. Everyone's going to take death. So your illness is not about whether you're going to live or die.
Right.
Your illness is how you're going to be living until you die.
Right.
Okay, so it's going to talk about your quality of life. But the death has already been written in, it's in my head, but it's musajjid. It's already been recorded in a book. And in that book, it's already written. No one's going to change that. Allah SWT says, a beautiful verse in the Quran, I have it in the slides, that He said what? That no one can hasten it on, so it's not going to happen any quicker. And no one can delay it. Death is something that's going to happen. It has nothing to do with sickness or anything. Things occur around the time that death occurs, and that's there. So whether somebody killed you, whether, whatever you were doing at that time, but you were leaving at that time. So there's nothing you can do. Now, when it comes to having children, this is a question, Rhadiyah. This is not a statement. Do we play any role in that affair at all?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
Well, here's the proof. If you have doubt, and I know why you would have doubt, and we're going to talk about that as well. Your doubt, if you have some doubt, this will help you. And we talked about this in the class. You have a husband and wife, and they say, look, baby, it is all with Allah. So they never cohabit. They just sleep for 10 years, waiting to have a baby. They never cohabit. Will they have a baby?
No.
No, they won't. That miracle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave to Maryam alayhi salam is hers. He said, what? We have chosen you, we have purified you, and we have chosen you above the women of all nations. This is that miracle for her. Nobody else gets that. So I'm telling you now, they can wait until doomsday. If they don't cohabit, if they do not sow, they will not reap. And Allah gave us a beautiful verse in the Quran. He said, look, to the men, your women, your wives are your what? That's your land, your earth, your cultivation. Go in there and cultivate. Allah told you. So if you don't go plant the seed, guess what? Nothing's going to grow. So with that said, yes, you do play a role in that. And so that role that you play is what I want to talk about. Because the role that you play is one of the reasons why those seeds ain't right. Ain't nothing being planted right. The ground ain't right. So ain't nothing growing right. And this is what's causing us. And it's being done intentionally into the food.
Mm-hmm.
So we fix those things, okay, doing those things now and turning to our Lord, that we may find that we'll have a lot more fertility going on. And that's what I wanted to tell the brother. So, so that is in also the gut module, gut brain module. And we have sleep and rest, and then of course abstinence. Using the methodology of our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in order to heal, as well as in order to have it as a pattern in which we govern our diet and our lifestyle. And when I say diet, I'm not talking about a diet that you go on and off. I'm talking about your eating pattern. So following the way of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and that is fasting and healing the body through abstinence and fasting. So that's pretty much the program. Given the location that we're able to use, we'll determine whether we'll do DIYs, do it yourself, showing people how to make natural antibodies. I don't like to use this word probiotics, but it's natural antibodies that Allah has given us. So how you can boost up your immune system and so forth. Also going to showing people where to get the pure water that Allah has given us in order for ourselves and our cells, 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 to be rejuvenated and to be replenished and nourished, because we have to have the right water. You have to remember, we were designed and made from the earth and from water. So Allah said He has created everything from that. Every living thing is from water. And so our DNA is the same as the DNA that you see in the environment, whether it be from the water, the trees, the earth. And I have probably two new modules that inshallah will be introduced in this program. And one is really breaking down the soil. And, mashallah. I don't even want to get into that right now, but I'm working on it. Hopefully I'll have it together, inshallah. So again, that's the program, and we're praying that we can take it as many places as we can before we do leave the country. We have made it, this program, literally, the value price is anywhere between $1,500 or more. And and the price is going to go up. So I'm really hoping that our community will reach out and get it while they can, because there's no way that I can continue to keep the price where it is. But we have it as low as you can possibly imagine, $67 for 2 weeks of this information, and leaving not just with the knowledge that you have. We give you a certificate, and again, you are highly empowered with information that you can use in your home, use on yourself, use with your family members, loved ones, and your community.
Alhamdulillah.
So, alhamdulillah.
You have any questions?
MashaAllah. Thank you so much, sis.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. So I heard you be working during the are you working on both the evenings, the weekends as well?
Yeah, I will be. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And what about the week?
The days I'm off on is Sundays
Okay.
and Fridays.
Okay. And what about the evenings? You work in evening?
I will be. Yeah, I'm going to school, and I'll be doing school and working at the same time. So.
Oh, mashallah, may Allah give you success. And inshallah, once we leave, if Allah permits, and if it's written, we'll bring it back to Atlanta. Inshallah, we'll see. Inshallah.
Inshallah. Well, thank you so much, Sister Karimah, once again. Looking so forward to the upcoming classes. Once again, I learned so much, and I'm so full.
not only did you learn a lot, I see how much you've implemented. And I think that was so important because, I told a dealer today when I was at her house, and, she took her milk out, and I'm looking and I'm saying, like, wow, the reward that I get, I'm saying even just the gratification that, wow, subhanAllah, they're going and, traveling all the way to another state to get the milk that Allah has ordained for us to have, to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And they're doing that because of something that I brought, trying to spread the message from Allah. And so I can't even tell you what gratification I got from that. And, I can't thank Allah enough for what He's given me in terms of this information and this knowledge from His book. And I just pray that I can continue to be a tool and an instrument in the community. And, Allah opens the door for me to go and just, not here, but like that's when I can sit back, and just sit under a tree somewhere and just smile. Really, because I've taken it everywhere, to be able to take it everywhere and go, places that I've never been or never thought about, and take this and see Muslims, trying to implement this. Like, that's what I dream about. So, but this is a start, and I feel so good. And I thank Allah, may Allah reward you and give you much success, and that, hopefully down the line, you won't have to go to Alabama, but you'll be saying, look, we got our cows here.
Right.
Here
Inshallah.
in our community.
Absolutely. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Okay, well, I'm not going to hold you any longer. I thank you so much for your time. And again, I look forward to seeing and being with you once again to get more knowledge and to also be of help to, anyone else that I can, give them the inspiration that Allah gave to you and you gave to us.
Alhamdulillah, may Allah give you success in that. And thank you. And hopefully, inshallah, we ask Allah to let this webinar just go all over, all over the world, not just the United States, but all over the world. And get positive feedback, inshallah.
نعم إن شاء الله. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
عليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.